Hello everyone, thanks for dropping by. You all know what that car is. I like the new improved grille that they've got. It's not as in your face as the previous grille, and I like that colour. If I was wealthy and living in America, I'd probably have one of those myself for a daily drive. Anyway, enough about that. As you know, the marriage industry all over the Western world has been in decline. Now that has had an impact on the academic crowd, as looking around I found this. As you can see, it's the University of Houston, and this was done on 11th of January this year. And it says the Japanese women are opting out of marriage. Nearly half of Canadians feel marriage is simply not necessary. That could be the MGTOW effect in Canada. And Chileans are marrying less and less. Now, it goes on about the numbers assertion in the United States. The number of first marriages has risen. The age for 22.5 for men and 27.1 for women. And 29.2 for men in 2016. Now, Dear Hannaford, that's her, she's an anthropologist, her and her colleagues at the University of Houston, they decided to do a bit of digging around, but what they found out and concentrated on was the island of Barbados. Most of this article is about Barbadian women not wanting to get married. To put it into perspective, the population of Barbados is just over 281,000 people. Now, I live in Warrington, and there's 211,000 people here in Warrington. So that gives you an idea how small a percentage of people her and her college concentrated on. Not to put marriage in perspective, but I also found this. Another study, US marriage rates plummets to over 60% over the past 50 years. Now this is just a tiny little article, but this bottom bit is most of interest. The study shows the groups seeing the biggest decline in people getting married include Hispanic and black women. The number of Hispanic women getting married went down 33%. Well, that could be because the Hispanic women moving into America to join the Hispanic men have seen what feminism like is in America, and a number of Hispanic women have decided to become feminists and I don't need no men, and that's the reason why. And the number of black women getting married dropped 60% over the past 50 years. That could be the reason the number of black men don't want to marry black women, because black men, as Kevin Samuels, God rest his soul, has shown what black women are really like, and black men in America have taken notice. But anyway, that's just this little article. You can click on that, but you got to sign in. You can ask later, and you get 5 free goes, and then you probably have to start paying a subscription. Now, carrying on with America, I found this. This is a site called Clever. This was done on June 27th this year by this lady, Sam, could be Samuel M. Hugh-ish Ake, she, and it says baby boomers, that's be me, are more likely than Generation X and 168% more likely than millennials, and 94% more likely than Generation Z, to say nothing is more important than marriage. Now, it just drops down to the key statistics. This bit is what I was interested in. So if you type FDEBT debt, here we go. The financial aspect of marriage requires nuance. More than 1.4 respondents, 28%, say a partner who has poor finances and debt is a potential deal breaker, while 65% consider it a definite deal breaker. Respondents say the maximum debt for potential marriage partner to carry averages between $20,000 and $30,000, with the most common limit falling between $10,000 to $20,000. For their sake, single adults should not incur upward of $10,000 in debt, non-mortgage and non-student loan debt, no matter what the potential tutor says. And then we have a graph. There's 20,000, 9%, 30 and 40. Now, considering student debt, I looked around and I found this. This was Forbes magazine. Now, this was done on July 16th this year by this lady, Alicia Hahn, editor, and her colleague, Jordan Tarver, who's also an editor. Now, if you drop down, average student debt in the United States, $28,950 owed per borrower on average. Now, if you drop back to this, it'll fall in this category 9%. That's student debt alone. The 92% of all student debt are federal student loans, and the remaining amount is private student loans. 55% of students from public four-year institutions have student loans. You notice the 55% is the percentage of women that's going to college. So you could say that the vast majority of that are women. And 57% of students with non-private four-year institutions took on education debt. It's debatable how many of that percentage is women. Now, dropping back to this, the deal breaker for you, she's got $30,000 to $40,000 in debt, so she'll fall in this category or this category. Now, once she gets marriage and debt, and he pays it off, maybe, then she'll probably end up divorcing him. So if you click on divorce, these are jump things which are similar to these arrows. Why you get divorce, infidelity, cheating. These also, both sides cheat, but we've also got the, paternity fraud. Arguing too often, that could be over money, fell out of love. Abuse, I don't agree with a guy abusing a woman, that's just plain wrong. Different worldviews. I've seen if the guy votes for Trump and she votes for the Democrats, then there'll be different worldviews and they'll end up arguing, and then they end up divorcing because they fell out of love. Money reasons, that's debt, that's 16%. Married too young, loss of attraction, blah, blah, blah. Now, single perspectives. Single life versus married life. Unmarried Americans don't think their married counterparts have it better. 2/3 of single adults are happy they're not married. Now, I wonder if that is the MGTOW effect. 2/3 of single guys, 67%, are happy they're not married. Though 68% say they want to get married, only 43% actually think they will. That could be the MGTOW effect. Unmarried Americans have valid reasons why they aren't married. The top 3 responses are they haven't found the right person, it's not a priority. That could be the MGTOW effect, or the women riding the cock carousel and enjoy their independence. In fact, 54% don't think marriage would make them happier. Then we got this graph. When it comes down to children, are kids all right? 57% have children, 18% don't have children but want them. That could be the women getting baby rabies. 14% don't want children. Whoops. Silly boy. Stop doing that, Christopher. 11% are unsure about wanting children. And then we got the graph. I have never wanted kids at 35%. Children are too much. And then 40, is marriage worth it? 40% of married Americans have regrets about their marriage. Which sex is that? Whoops, you dozy sod. Stop doing that. Sorry about this, people. Children are too much work. Children are expensive. I don't think I would be a good parent. I want to maintain my independence. That could be either the MGTOW effect or women, I don't need no man. I'm a strong, independent woman. But then that 26% could be the number of career women in America that in 7 years' time are going to be single and childless. Then is marriage worth it? I should have married someone I'm more compatible with. That could be women. I should have married someone who is better with money. That possibly would be women. I married too young. I should have married someone who is nicer. That could be women. As Chris Rock said during one of his shows, she looks at you in a certain way and you're not her first choice. I shouldn't have got him married at all. That would be definitely, could be women. And on and on and on. And then we get more yada yada. And that's the article. Now with student loans, if you drop down to this, the average student loan, the highest one is in Washington, D.C., is $54,708.52. And the lowest is in Florida, $37,709.72. Then we got your different states. Just pick whichever state you're living in if you're an American. And this is the average student loan for women and guys in your particular state. And then average student loan debt by age. 24 and younger. There, they've graduated. 25 to 34 years old. And then the career woman is still loaded up with debt. And 50 to 60 debt. 60 and older debt. Here in Britain, I also had a student loan, but if you reach state pension age, which is 66 here in Britain, and it's not been paid off, then the debt is automatically cancelled. I had about £12,000 in student debt, but that's gone, zero. That could be the way they'll have to go in America. Otherwise, this debt will going to be a millstone round Americans' necks from now until next century. Anyway, it says average student loan debt by race and gender. 47% of women held student loan debt. 40% of men. You notice 7%. Now, if you go back to this, where's going to find it again? Debt. F. Try that again. Here we go. Now, where are we? 47% of student loan debt. And it was average at 30,000. There's a number of debt, $30,000 to $40,000 in debt. The 47% of women in America fall into these categories if they're at college. Some might even fall into this category. But anyway, and then it goes student loan portfolio, more yada yada yada. I'll naturally pull the links below so you can read this yourself. Age grouped. The amount of debt, 500 billion, 622 billion, and then it drops, and then even seniors in America, 98 billion in debt. And you notice 14.9 million people in debt, 14.4 million, so 25 to 49 is the highest debt area. And then it goes more in school, grace period, repayment, deferral, yada, yada, yada. All sorts of economic stuff. And that's the article. Now, dropping back to this, it says children, 50%, 80% don't want to have children but want them. That is coupled with the American fall in marriage is going to be a burden. It's already happening in Japan, and they're seriously worried, as I found this on Al Jazeera. This was done on 2nd of June this year. As you can see, Japan's birth rate drops to fresh record low. Latest figures reveal the health ministry show birth rates have dropped below previous low of 2005. Fertility rates, average number of children born in a lifetime, is 1.2%. It should be 2.07% to maintain a stable population. And where's it? Number of newborns born in Japan slid 5% to 770,749 last year. My great-nephew Lewis, he's half Japanese, half English. He's Simon, my nephew's son. He's 21 next year, so unless he has children himself, he'll be contributing to this. The number of deaths shot up in Japan, a record 1.57 million. Data showed more than 47,000 deaths in Japan were caused by the coronavirus pandemic. In other words, the common flu. But anyway, Americans are also being affected by a low birth rate. Again, as I found this is CNN Health. This was done on 1st of June this year by Alex Lead Matthews. He's whoever he is at CNN. Fertility rates dip, people having babies later, the state of birth rates in the US. Now, if you drop down, you come to a stylized map of America, and depending what state you're in, you just put your cursor over it. Say if you're in that one, Iowa, the number of births is 0.96 lower than it was in 2021 to 2022. Now, if you drop down, people having children later in life, there's 44 to 44-year-old women, post-war, post-menopausal, teenagers not having babies, which is a good thing. But this, we have the 35 to 39-year-old women, post-war, and their eggs are drying up, they come in baby rabies. They're desperate for children. 20 to 24-year-olds are not having children. They're running a carousel. And then 30 to 34-year-olds women are peaked in 2016, dipped a bit 2020. That's when third wave feminism kicked in. Fourth wave feminism kicked in. And then just a slight increase in 25 to 29-year-olds who see the wall approaching. They're dropping, not wanting children. But this is the prime fertility age group of women, and you notice it's dropping like mad, which will make this an American thing in a not so different future. And these women are post-war, post-menopausal women. They're getting baby rabies and they desperately want children. And women are delaying motherhood. People who have their first child later tend to have fewer children overall. Birth rates among women in the late 30s and 40s rose in the last decade, and the birth rate among women over 45 also exceeded 1 birth per thousand population. but I've covered that before. The number of women over 45 is just less than 1% of the American population that having children. Meanwhile, the teen birth rate has dropped, which is a good thing, as I said. But it all boils down to women are opting out of marriage because in Canada and Canadians and Americans. But Americans' marriage rate has plummeted 60%. Americans, get to the top. Control. Bugger. Come on, Christopher. 1 in 4 Americans don't think marriage is worth it. And they're up to their ears in student loan debts because it's mostly women. And we've got the birth rate as the end result. And that's happening in America. I think I'm on the 20 minutes now. I have to wrap it up, even though I only like to do 10 minutes, as you know. But it seems things are coming to a head, people. And 2030, when 52% of American women are going to be single and childless, is going to dramatically affect this. I think I've covered most topics I want to do today. You know the routine, people. Like, dislike, comment, subscribe. Completely up to you. So I think I'll try and find some more on this for next week. But for now, that's it for this one. Bye-bye.